What's up everybody, welcome to CG Market Watch, and we are up for a pump since yesterday. So congratulations guys, who have been longing, BTC, and we finally see some movement from the king, right? So last week we've been talking about how Ethereum has been moving, and BTC just not really moving as much as compared to Ethereum, right? But just yesterday alone on a Sunday, who would have expect BTC to move up by close to $200+, right? So that's a huge significant move. Now the question today that I have for all of us is, are we ready to feast on Bitcoin? Is it time to really be focusing on Bitcoin, or what exactly should we be looking out for right now, right? So I think what we need to first understand is, I have certain news for you guys, and I'm going to share with you. On top of that, we are also going to be covering some technical analysis quickly on a few main key tokens that have moved up significantly in the last few days. And I'll just end off my stream with that. Alright, so let me just get some. Okay, so we're ready. Alright, so let's go. We're going to be covering CoinMarketCap first. Okay. Okay, so right now we're on a CoinMarketCap page, and what we've seen, okay, so let me just refresh this. Now, currently for the market cap, we're at 138 billion, and that's a significant move of close to 6 billion since yesterday. 24 hours volume, we are at 17 bill, and Bitcoin dominance is now at 51.5%. So when I was looking at Bitcoin dominance this morning, when we were doing the webinar for our Legacy and Elite members, it was actually at 51.7. So what we do see is perhaps some volume has started shifting back towards the odds again as BTC consolidates at this price of 4032 or sorts. Right now, so when we look at the different tokens as of now, at least for the top 10 or 20, we do see some huge recovery coming from the few of them. Litecoin, for instance, it went up by 10%, partly of the announcement for Masternode set up by Charlie Lee on his Twitter, and also partly perhaps due to the halving coming from Litecoin in the future. So the halving on Litecoin is going to come earlier than Bitcoin. Alright, now on the other few tokens, we see Tether also losing slightly, of course, because people start shifting back towards BTC, and so on and so forth, right? So most of the time, the stable coins will not be doing as well. USDC is not doing that well because we're shifting back towards BTC. The whole entire cryptocurrency market is getting more risk on as of now. True US dollars is also deep slightly by 0.16%, and definitely I think Paxos is also one of them, right? So Paxos is 0.35. So we do see an upside on almost everything in terms of US dollar value. Alright. Now what I want to share with you here is in terms of a change in perspective. Now, this is all the rise in terms of US dollars. Alright, but one thing that we need to kind of understand is this. When we look at BTC per se, when we compare altcoins versus BTC, I say, okay, as altcoins versus BTC as a base pair, what you have realized is that most of it is actually in the negatives. So what I'm trying to imply here, or to say, is that a lot of different altcoins are now being sold off to BTC. So it's a good sign because BTC, because a lot of volume is then sucked out from the altcoins towards BTC. Now that's a good sign. Now for those who have been in the cryptocurrency market for a while, back in 2017, close to 2018, if you have remembered, what had happened was that suddenly you realize that you are holding less Bitcoin because you were holding on to more alts, right? You had less Bitcoin, you had more altcoins, and at the same time your Satoshi level dropped significantly, but US dollar value was up. Now, I personally feel, okay, of course it's non-financial advice, but I personally feel that in order for BTC to be declared in a bullish run in the future, we need to see more altcoins volume being sucked out to BTC, okay? And this is already happening. So you can see most of it against BTC pairing is actually negative. I don't know if you guys have noticed this phenomenon. There's only a few that are in green. Of course, we have some random tokens that are pumping here and there, but just ignore the fact. But you can see the majority are actually in red. And the most interesting thing here is that most of these that are in red are more or less more well established than those that are in green. Okay, so in fact, they are at least the top 10 to 20 coins, or maybe 50 or even 100 coins. This is on Binance. Okay, so even on Huobi, if you realize, right, so I've clicked on change so that you could see what are mainly the negatives. So you see that most of the tokens that are more well established in that sense are also in the rates. Okay, so it's across the different exchanges. Volume is being sucked out from different altcoins into BTC, and that flippening is happening. Okay, so you can see even for Huobi / BTC, you can see that the price has just dipped, and now it's slightly recovering because BTC is flowing towards the alts, and it reflects with the Bitcoin dominance going down. Alright, so it's a clear reflection of where the funds are heading to. I personally feel that there'll be more upside this week. This is my own personal point of view, but we will see what's going to happen. Alright, so to cover a few news, so we have crypto market unconvincingly at 7 billion as Bitcoin recovers. Now, so I think this article basically sums up what is happening. Alright, so anyway, it says Ripple, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, EOS and Stellar recorded gains in the range of 3 to 12%. We can see that trends of crypto market still remain uncertain. There are a lot of people that are saying that, hey, you know, maybe we are still in the bear season. Why are we so bullish on Bitcoin? Alright, and then so there are many different school of thoughts here once again. Some people are saying we have a scheduled launch of BUB, we have SEC decision on ban check Bitcoin exchange traded fund ETF, and then there's also people saying that we shouldn't be relying so much on the ETF, okay? And also we have Constantinople hard fork that's coming for Ethereum, and we don't know what's going to happen to Ethereum as well. So my personal point of view is, again, I'll cover that in the charts later, might or not. Right. So anyway, so in order for crypto to be declared to be in the bull run, alright, there's a few factors that we all are looking at, right? So in this article, it is saying that the market cap should hover between 160 to 180, or in fact between 200 to 250 billion range. Then we could kind of say that, hey, maybe the market is less vulnerable to more drops. Okay, so that is what is happening as of now. Okay, so this is just different articles analyzing. Now the other person that said crypto VC says everyone forgotten about Bitcoin. Why is that okay? So you know, Bitcoin once again is a niche, right? And mainstream has almost entirely forgotten about Bitcoin again. And what has happened is actually we do see currently after the hype cycle, which ended in 2017, early 2018. We are kind of just facing reality. Perhaps it isn't exactly a failed technology because blockchain has been around for a period of time already, and it's really just, it's not failed technology, but rather it's just the hype cycle ending, and therefore we went through a kind of like a bubble burst situation, and therefore Bitcoin retraced. In fact, all cryptocurrency retraced. And now it's a lift off to optimal market opportunity, and then we have a sustainable market in the future. So perhaps we are at the very bottom of this place where, you know, we're just going through a normal market cycle, and perhaps this is the next cycle. So basically the writer or the author also correlates it to different stock prices, be it Amazon and different stuff. Alright, so now this is also true, and this is what I believe, okay, that the mainstream cryptocurrency adoption requires a trigger. It's not just about adoption, it's also about the need for Bitcoin or the need for cryptocurrency to make certain move. Why do we need them? Why do we want to transact in them? And you know, greatest question once again is, if recession were to hit, will it become the next digital gold or a digital gold, you know, to hedge out your asset class? You know, when you compare certain currencies all around the world where you have huge inflation on the dollars itself, not US dollars, but on their dollars per se, or on their cash, it kind of makes sense if you want to like convert that cash into something tangible, okay, maybe intangible still because of Bitcoin, but perhaps Bitcoin can become the hedge, right? Because it's harder to own gold or physical gold, but it's easier to actually have Bitcoin in your digital wallet because it's in your phone, so you can manage that. So think about that for a second. So in fact, right now, a trigger for mainstream adoption, that could be a long-awaited Bitcoin ETF. It could be Ethereum's delivery of scale. It could be Transbit Torrent. It could be Brave browser or whatever, Facebook, WhatsApp, cryptocurrency. It might also be a big bang really getting into. Now, I personally feel that, just my own personal point of view, is that the particular bull run that's going to come in this particular year, if in fact, let's say 2019 is really the year for harvesting, and it really comes, it has to be led by a few things. Number one, institutions will have to be coming in, and one of the only few ways that they can come in is either through futures, which we already have, ETFs, which is coming. We have things like BUC, which allows people to store money, be it custodial wallet services, or be it in terms of futures or options, right, coming in as well. So all these options have to come in, all these different ways of accessing the cryptocurrency market has to come in for institutional traders to have the security to come into the market itself. So we need to have fresh fiat. That's one thing we need to establish. The second thing that we need to have is adoption. Now, when we talk about adoption, we're not talking about companies adopting it, we're not talking about banks adopting it. Personally, we need to look at governments adopting it. We need to look at main governments. Main governments, what do I mean? We're talking about big economies like China, US, and the rest of the world. We have to kind of establish cryptocurrency as a form of asset class. With that, we have more regulations, and with that, we have more stability, and therefore institutions will come in. So it's a kind of like a cycle, but this cycle has to be completed in order for market to move. All right. So for instance, if let's say China were to say, we're gonna leave off cryptocurrency ban. Let's say, for instance, we're gonna leave off cryptocurrency ban. We're not gonna be banning miners as well. We're gonna be supporting miners. It's a whole different ball game again. Once again, it's gonna be a whole different thing. Cryptocurrency market will move, right? So it really, it's dependent on sentiment. It's not gonna be a small thing like a Brave browser or like a Facebook, WhatsApp cryptocurrency that will move the market. I don't think so. Even a small adoption in that sense will not move the market. Now, think of it this sense. Facebook, WhatsApp is quite big, right? In the US and around the world. But the question is, how many people really uses Facebook? How many people really uses WhatsApp? How many people really know what's cryptocurrency and can use it? So the functionality is not there because the regulation is not there. People don't know about it, right? Circulation is not there. So people need to be educated first before the whole entire market moves, all right? But thinking of it in this sense, because of Bitcoin's price tanking, more people know about it as of now, right? Be it in terms of positive light or negative light, people know about it, more people buying into it, and therefore the network is even more decentralized. So that is kind of like the good point to note when it comes to the next bull run. All right, instead of the same few people holding it, now there are more people, new players, new participants holding on to it, and it's a good sign for decentralization. It's a good sign for upward movement later on. All right. So the other small news that I want to talk about is Bitcoin transaction fees hit 3-year low as Lightning Network Segwit helped BTC scale. Okay. So basically, to cover this in a very simple way, what has happened is that now we are kind of on a lower transaction fee. In fact, it only costs about 18 cents to even send, or maybe 20 cents to kind of send a sum of money over. And I think it has something to do with more, not only just like weight, okay, it's also partly due to the fact that less people are trading as of now, less people are transacting in it, and therefore the transaction fee are lowering. It's a self-balancing mechanism that the Bitcoin network has, okay? So basically what it means is the network is processing fewer transactions than what it had 3 years ago. In fact, it's processing 75% more transactions, but it's been doing it more efficiently. Now, because of Segwit as well, introduced in August 2017, so there's a few scaling to come. Now, we also need to understand that the Lightning Network of BTC, okay, they have also created something like that which can be used easily. So everything right now, okay, it's kind of just setting the path onto the next bull run. You have Bitcoin's price tanking, therefore there's more network spread, therefore there's more decentralization, more people owns it, more participants coming into it, and now you have transactions lowering at a very low fee. It's faster, it's a very low fee, and thinking about it, it's kind of just preparing for the next rally, right? When the transaction speed suddenly picks up, when more people start to transact in it, BTC network will still be able to sustain it, right? So question is then, what is Bitcoin Cash then? Okay, so if Bitcoin is really the goal where you just keep it, if Bitcoin Cash is really like it says the cash, the currency, the one that you transact in it, now then I'm questioning what is Bitcoin Cash purpose. Okay, what exactly can it be used for? Right, so this is the big question that all of us is always questioning here. We're always thinking about it. Same thing for Litecoin. What exactly can Litecoin be for then, right? Transacting, but Bitcoin transaction is pretty okay too, right? May not be as fast as Litecoin, but it's pretty affordable as well. And Bitcoin kind of has more value than Litecoin as of now still, right? So think about that for a second. Now, so ultimately what I want to move on, of course, is the charts. And I think most of you, or most of us here are actually talking or waiting for the charts. Sorry? Okay, so when we're looking at the charts here, we do see that this is the BTC chart on 4 hours, alright? And this is the movement that we have seen. Okay, so basically this analysis that I made was over the weekends, in fact last week over the weekends, and even this morning when I was talking to the Legacy Elite members through our weekly webinar. I actually was just talking about this simple theory. Okay, so this is a more simplified chart already. I've tried to simplify it slightly, so forgive me if it looks a bit complicated. But basically, there's 3 points that you want to note. Okay, so number one, we can see that the volume, OBV, and RSI is kind of above 50. Volume is still going up slightly. If you just zoom out on it, of course, it doesn't look as significant, but we still see an uptrend, which is good. On RSI, we are already above 50, which is the midline, so there are more upside to come. Of course, people will argue that, hey, BTC is currently overbought. Isn't that a bad situation? Yes, it is, right? But when you date back in 17th December to 20th December, now I don't know if you all can recall, there was a period of time for a week, for 5 days, when Bitcoin pumped from $3,200 level all the way to what, 4.2, right? That freaked us out because it was a $1,000 increase in 5 days. Okay, it happened before in Bitcoin history, and it's kind of repeating it now. But how much volume is then this coming pump? Okay, so that's my greatest question. So RSI, even though it's overbought, it could still sustain it for a while. Alright, so looking at this chart, basically what you can see is very simply we have 3 waves. Okay, so you can see this is wave 1, this is wave 2, and this is wave 3. Alright, so that's how you identify waves. Now, personally for me, whenever we look at chart patterns, be it candlesticks or be it in terms of chart patterns, it always comes in 3 to 5. Okay, so this is the 3 wave that we're looking at. So let me just draw some conclusion to it. Okay, so you can kind of see. So what we have here to me is kind of like wave 1. Okay, so this is wave 1, and you can see this is wave 1 as well. So when this was moving in unison to this very similar chart pattern, you realize that Ichimoku was kind of here. Okay, so you realize that I kind of take it out, but let me just draw it for you guys. Okay, you kind of realize that this part here, in terms of the cloud, and this part here is kind of similar. Alright, so maybe you can say that this is a bit of a stretch, right? Why is it similar? This one was in the cloud when we were breaking it, but this is different, right? But when you look at how the Kumo cloud just ascend quickly, and it's building up in terms of size, it kind of just tells you that, hey, this is more or less an organic pump. And when you kind of just understand that all the altcoins are being sucked out, their volume is being sucked out towards BTC, and you realize that US dollar value for BTC is now higher than the US Tether value, you understand that organic funds or fresh fiat is coming into the market, and altcoins are being sucked out to BTC. So that's kind of like a good telltale sign. Now, combining with technical analysis, you realize that Kumo Cloud is doing good. Okay, so two points already. We talk about RSI and OBV. We spoke about Kumo Cloud, which is kind of giving you a prediction on future movement. And finally, when we look at how this current movement is like, okay, in terms of charting wise, so this is more like a flagpole, right? So it's kind of forming a bull flag, right? So of course you may say it's not, to me, maybe it's not exactly a bull flag yet. You can say this is a descending triangle, so you may hit down. You can argue in many different ways lah. Okay, so chart patterns is unique. We can argue all the way we want, but it does look like it may have a potential of breaking out as well. Okay, so personally I feel we kind of just need some tanking action, meaning we need to have some retracement, and then perhaps the next pump will come. Alright, now so this is in terms of BTC. After we broke out a symmetrical triangle, it went up significantly. This was the flagpole that needs to be formed, and then we need to form a flag. Now, the second thing to note, or the last thing to note, is a very simple logic. Okay, so this is my own personal logic. Okay, finally, this is not financial advice. This is just my own personal point of view, and this is what I'll be attempting to do. Okay, now when you look at this particular segment here, this was across 5 days. Okay, and this was about a 27.87% rise. Okay, or upside. Now, when we correlate to what we have as of now, and let's just assume that this is the first wave, this will be a 27.82% rise. Okay, now this is if in a normal scenario or normal situation, this may happen, but we need to understand that when BTC did this 27.87 pump, we were referring to a new low that was done by BTC, right? A BTC struck a new low at $3170 level, or 3130 or whatever on different exchanges. this was kind of like the telltale sign that people said that was the low and that was priced in and the movement came about. So when you correlate to what is happening right now, will the movement be as strong? I don't think so. Okay, because there was an all-time low, we're striking up. Okay, so that's a different thing, right? We want to kill off all, we want to liquidate all the shorters. And as of here, if this is the wave one, we're gonna see a 2 or 3 more waves maybe. Okay, I'm not gonna just give you directions of where you're gonna go, but I personally feel that we may be up by 18% in this coming week. Okay, so definitely 4-4 will be the point I'll be looking at in terms of taking profit. Of course, when it comes to Fibonacci, you realize that it kind of aligns with the estimation at 27.82%, which is around 4.8. So we're not, most likely we're not going to be heading there because we form an all-time low, and that's why we're able to breach through the cloud. But as of here, I don't see that coming. Okay, so 4.4 will be the key resistance level that I'll be looking at. As of now, I'm only just building my longs. I'm taking some profit out slightly, but I'm still building my longs towards 4.4. I really don't see any negative side coming up. Okay, so this is just my own personal point of view. It may not work for you, but this is non-financial advice once again. All right, now. So the next chart that I want to talk about is not BTC. Okay, and I think this is something that concerns a lot of people. So I'm just gonna go through Ethereum quickly. And so for me personally, I'm not really very into Ethereum as of now. Now I know that in the last few weeks I have been. In fact, last week I did make some successful trades on Ethereum. I make some money. Good. I help Legacy and Elite members make a few waves as well. At least 1 or 2, 3 waves. But as of now, what we do see is a slowdown of Ethereum's movement, right? So you do see that Ethereum's volume, or not even just volume, you can see that chart-wise, it's kind of not heading up anymore. So $160 seems to be the very strong resistance that Ethereum is having. And at the same time, you can see that OBV-wise, it's just consolidating on 4 hours. It's kind of weak, to be honest, as compared to what BTC had, all right? Even RSI is also kind of just hovering, it doesn't have a clear direction. But of course, when you look at the cloud per se for Ethereum, it does look pretty pleasant, right? So it kind of seems like we are heading up. But for me personally, looking at Ethereum right now and judging on how BTC is moving, this week I will only be focusing on BTC. I'll not be looking at Ethereum as much. Now there's a reason why, because we did an 80% up. The kind of like the fork, be it Constantinople or Classic Vision or whatever you name it, has kind of been priced in, right? So what's going to happen is like what Ryan mentioned before. If Ethereum were to hit a certain high again, $160, $165, $170, doesn't matter, there's going to be a few series of things that will happen. Number one, ICO companies will start taking profit, maybe, and we might even see more shorting coming in, okay? Or we may even see volume sucked out of Ethereum heading towards BTC. So that may happen as well. So we're just speculating on a lot of different things, but for me personally, when we're just comparing between BTC and Ethereum as of now, I'll be more positive, or I'll be more optimistic about how BTC movement will be. In fact, Ethereum's US dollar value or its movement will be controlled and managed by how BTC movement will be. So if BTC goes up, Ethereum US dollar value will go up. But if BTC continues to go up like this in a huge way, then the Satoshi level of Ethereum will be sucked out to support BTC movement. So think of that for a second. So with that being said, we have about, so currently today is 7 Jan, right? We have about 11 days away from Constantinople hard fork, and we don't even know, we're not getting a new token, and we don't even know whether the software upgrade or hardware upgrade or whatever, or software upgrade, will it benefit holders, will it benefit users, right? And knowing how it's a traditional investor kind of thing, or like a trader point of view, which is buy the rumor, sell the news, I personally feel there may be shorting opportunities when it comes to Ethereum. Okay, so my point for Ethereum, that's it. Now, let's take a look at Litecoin quickly, and we can end off the stream today. Okay, so Litecoin. Now, Litecoin's pump here, it's kind of amazing, I would say. We didn't really expect that. We didn't even see that coming. So perhaps there's a few different reasons why. All right. So this is in terms of how technical wise why Litecoin pumped. Personally, I feel it's I wouldn't want to say it's manipulated, but I think it is. So it's like a certain tweet, okay, or someone moving the market somehow. I don't know who per se, but of course technical wise, you could see a double bottom here that may explain a pump to maybe this price. But this chart here in its whole entirety has nothing to do with a double bottom. Okay, that is for sure. Alright, this whole entire block of candles here. Alright, it has nothing to do with double bottom. If you can just clarify, double bottom may just end here, that's it. That's a good double bottom formation, but breaking out all the way up here, it's kind of like, what is Litecoin doing? Yeah, so this is the kind of question that even I am asking. Now, if you were to ask me if it is a good time to buy into Litecoin, I would say no. RSI is really kind of overbought. Volume is still good, definitely. But like I say again, I will not be focusing so much on altcoins. I am focusing only on BTC. BTC is the king, and I'll ride with it. Because the more odds I have, the more chances of my Satoshi level being sucked out to support BTC movement. So I'm not going to be playing that again. I'm just going to be pro BTC for now, maximalist, until when BTC starts consolidating, finds its consolidated range, then I'll be looking at altcoins. If not, for now, it will just be mainly BTC. Okay? Right, so any questions from anyone? No. So I see one question. I'm in Tether. Should I buy BTC now? Oh, anyway, hey Kelvin. So should I buy BTC now? Okay, so this is the toughest question. Why? I think some of our members are also asking. You know, they are in Tether. What should they do now? What should I say? It's actually quite simple to explain that. Let me just take a look here. Okay, so now my point of showing you this is to show you something here. Now you can see that on Binance, okay, on 24 hours change, you can see that true US dollars is shifting. Its volume is about this much, right? It's shifting towards BTC, right? So people are buying BTC. You can see the different. You can also see the different tokens are being sucked out towards BTC. So what I'm trying to say here is, be it in terms of technical analysis, be it in terms of fundamentals, be it in terms of sentiment, that what is happening, what is happening in BTC per se, or everyone's focus right now is actually kind of BTC. You may say that other tokens, other odds are doing good, whatever, but once BTC truly starts rallying, you will just suck out all the different Satoshi from different odds, and you will basically stuck at a certain point. So if you're currently now stuck in Tether, okay, and your question is, should I enter BTC? Like what Kelvin said, you will want to ladder in. Now, when I say you want to ladder in, okay, once again, this is not financial advice, just my own personal, this is what I would do. On every pump, after every pump, like this kind of pump, there will always be a slight dip. There will always be some retracement or some correction. It's a usual market cycle kind of thing. It happens in all kinds of different financial instruments, all kinds of charts. And this is kind of like the best point to just ladder in. I ladder in 50%, you can ladder in 30%, that's up to you. You want to hold on to more Tether, you run the risk. You run the risk of it going up. Now Tether is only good, okay, if, example, you have cashed out BTC maybe at 4.2 or 4.4 or 4.5 previously, and you're still holding on to this Tether, you are still in profit. The question is, you are losing, there's an opportunity cost by holding on to Tether. So my question throw back to you is, what would you want to do with your Tether, right? It's not moving at all, right? So the only thing that you can really do now is to be in the market. And to be in the market, it means you either need to be focusing on certain odds, okay, pairing, or you want to be focusing on BTC. For me, I'll just focus on BTC. Upon every pump, there will be a dip, I buy in at a dip. Upon every pump, there will be a dip, I buy in at a dip. Keep that strategy, it's simple. When it hits 4.4, cash out, same cycle repeats. Okay, so this is just what I'm going to do. Non-financial advice, guys, but this is what I will do. Okay? Any other questions, guys? If not, thank you so much for tuning in. So for more latest update with regards to what CG is doing with CG Protégé, of course, so you can find CG Protégé. We will be pushing out some of our monthly reports today or maybe tomorrow. Okay, you will find more information on CG Protégé. And at the same time, so where to find it, right, guys? So anyway, it's on a blog post. You can find it here, CG Protégé. And this is what we'll be covering. It's free, okay, totally, and you can just click on join now to fill up the form. However, it's proudly sponsored by Huobi because we are kind of like the Huobi Elite Strategy Partner. So you have to have a Huobi account in order to join CG Protégé, okay, where we'll give you slightly more updates. Now, of course, most of the priority will definitely be going to our CG Legacy and Elite members. They have already received all this information days before me even talking about it. Okay, so that's it for me from today on CG Market Watch. Okay, so thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday. And I will have some news announcement to make on Friday, this Friday. So stay tuned. There'll be some changes to the schedule of CG Market Watch, but we'll still be delivering news and updates on the cryptocurrency market. So stay tuned, guys, and thank you for tuning in.
For more crypto-related content, check out our website now.